Hello and welcome to the channel. I am Jimmy and you're watching Jimboyrulez. In today's video, we're going to talk about 10 things that I love about my BMW Z4 Sdrive35iS. So without any further ado, let's dive straight into it. Now that I've owned my Z4 for a few years, I do think I understand my car enough to make a video about things I love about my car and a separate video about things I dislike about my car. This video is purely about 10 points that I absolutely love about my Z4, and I will make a separate video about things I dislike about my car, which I will link in the description below.
12 seconds later.
So I've listed 10 points and they're in no particular order. First one is, I find it really beautiful. It was like love at first sight, and over the years the love has not decreased. We look at a lot of cars and after a few years you stop liking the way it looks, whereas with my Z4 I still love it and I think it's absolutely as beautiful as I first saw it. And this love and infatuation actually started long ago when the first Z3 came out. The Z3 came out and it was in every Bollywood movie that you can think of. Nearly every Bollywood hero has sat in a Z3 and sung some Bollywood song, racing with the train, or just driving around New Zealand. And this love only grew when my favorite secret agent, James Bond, drove the Z3. It grew further with James Bond driving the Z8, which is a totally different car. But then came the E89 Z4, which I was not too sure about, and I maybe for a brief moment looked at the Porsche Boxster. But then the E89 Z4, when I saw it the first time, it swept me off my feet. It was love at first sight. The inspiration from the shark gills, or maybe it's just me, but the front kidney grills and the headlights make me think of a shark for some reason, and I think that the long hood and the short trunk make up for a perfect roadster, even though despite the fact that a lot of people would choose to disagree with me, as it's a hardtop convertible and the purists do believe that it's not a proper roadster, but I'm absolutely in love with the way it looks. It was designed by two women, and I think they know what men want, I guess. So much that I think that it is prettier than the new E89 Z4. Kudos to the designers. Number two, I love the fact that it is a convertible. I've made a separate video of things that I love about the Z4's convertible roof and things that I dislike about the Z4's convertible roof, which I'd link in the description. But to sum it up, I love it because I lived in India where the weather was super hot, and then I lived in the UK where it rained all the time. So when I moved to California, it was a way of celebrating the nice and sunny weather. What better way of celebrating the weather than by getting a convertible? Put the roof down, have some Bollywood music blaring out. I mean, why not? Number three, it's not slow, especially the Sdrive35iS version that produces 335 bhp. I'm not saying that it is the fastest thing out there, but to go around the back roads with the roof down, it got plenty of power. Maybe it's not a lot of power if you want to take it out on a track, but for the back roads, it's great. But that brings me to the fourth point. The N54 6-cylinder twin-turbo motor that the Sdrive35iS has, it's an amazing motor. And the reason why I say that is because you could get good 500-600 horsepower out of this motor by doing very little. It's a very versatile motor that you could get and extract a shit ton of power out of. I know I already mentioned that it is a convertible and I love it, but I need to separate this and say that I like the fact that it is a hardtop convertible. The reason why I mention it separately is because that it could have been a soft top, but the fact that they've given a hardtop roof, which is very similar to the Ferraris, the reason why I love it is that it's really quiet inside the car. It's got 0 to no road noise and it's safe. So if you park in a bad neighborhood, which I don't, but if you had to, no one is going to slice the roof open and steal belongings from the car. Plus, it just adds to the beauty. There are very few cars in the world that are convertibles and they look beautiful with the roof up and with the roof down. And this is one of those hardtop roofs that just looks beautiful whether it's up or down. The next point is the exhaust. The stock exhaust sounds so good. It burbles when you let off the gas. It has 2 independent exhaust routes in the car. And that's why the 35iS sounds so much better than the other trims. The sound of this stock exhaust is not annoying to the ears of the passenger, the driver, or the bystander, and it's still appealing enough to be taken seriously. The next point is the car's interior. There are very few cars that look awesome years after they have actually come out. If you look at maybe 5-6-year-old cars, their interior looks dated. But the Z4's interior is such, and especially the E89 Z4's interior is such, that it's going to go down the history books and it's going to turn into a very classic interior. With the knobs, the way they're given, they look like a turbine. Simple yet elegant. Very out of the box thinking and styling. The next point is the suspension. It's the adaptive suspension on this car that blows my mind. It's no O'Leans on the track, but it adjusts itself for a comfort ride on the commuting freeway, whereas you stiffen it up for the back roads and through the canyons. I mean, that change is amazing. I absolutely love how stiff it could become when you put it in Sports Plus or Sport mode, and then how comfortable it is in Comfort mode. In Sports Plus mode, it just grips and goes. There is no body roll, none. 0. When you turn the steering wheel, it just points and goes, sticks to the road like no one's business. The next one is the transmission. When I was looking for the car, I would really wanted a manual transmission Z4. But in order to do that, I would have had to buy a very old Z4. E89, but a much older version of the Z4, as the newer version did not have a manual option. So the only option to get on the Z4 was the dual clutch option. Since that was the only option, I opted for it, but it came as a pleasant surprise. The DCT on the E89 Z4, especially on the Sdrive35iS version, is fast. You pull the pedal and it changes, and even in sports automatic, it is a beast. I've tried it out on the track and I've tried it on the canyon roads, and I've used it in comfort, in normal drive, in my commutes, and I absolutely love it. It grew on me in no time, and I don't feel the deficit of not having a manual. Number 10 is the car's MMI system. It might sound absurd because it is a little out of date, does not have a backup camera, and the navigation system is a little older. But the reason why I personally love the MMI system, and it's not just limited to Z4s, it's all BMWs, is because it very nicely splits the screen in two. What I mean by that is I could have the navigation on there as well as my music. So I absolutely love that feature of my BMW Z4 where I could split the screen and have two different things showing on my MMI screen. Moreover, even though I say the navigation system is a little bit out of date, I do absolutely love it. I think it is very nice. I updated it and I think that it works perfectly. I don't think that I need to pull out my phone to have Google Maps or Waze on, but I could rely on my BMW's maps just fine. So these were my 10 points that I absolutely love about my car. If I missed anything, if you have a Z4 and you love something about it, do comment below. And if you liked this video or found value in this video, please do consider liking the video. And if you haven't already, do subscribe. Thank you for watching. See you later. Ciao.